Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Brew live on Brew Sports. We welcome you inside the studio for a Monday edition of the show. It is opening day, Jamie's favorite time of the year.
Yay.
A very good morning to you, Jamie Evers. How are you today?
I am great and very excited.
Very excited. You've got your Brewers gear on. Life is good in the Ever household.
It is.
You're going to opening day, too, for the Brewers today, aren't you?
I am.
Why? Do you have a specific spot that you're sitting in, or are you going to be more one of those roamers around the ballpark?
I probably typically would be a roamer, but we're going with a group, so we're actually sitting in the dew deck.
Ah, the dew deck.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you're going to be out in the outfield there, so you can maybe catch a home run or fly a foul ball or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like they change it every once in a while, though, don't they? Like where the dew deck is located, or is it usually out in the outfield?
No, I think it's in the same spot. I don't know. I've only been there once.
I haven't been to a Brewers game in 2 years, so I guess that shows. That's why I was asking in case they moved it. So.
I don't think so. I don't know where they would move it to.
I'm not sure where they'd move it to either, but I guess, when you're a sponsor, you pay the money and do whatever you want to do, I guess.
Yeah, right. You don't like your spot? You
Exactly.
just,
get out of here.
Pay for it to go somewhere else.
Exactly. I'm going to put you in the parking lot, Mountain Dew, because blah, that's why.
Right.
Well, we've got some good stuff in store for you folks today. A little bit of a different style show today for you, of course. We are just doing the audio version of the show today, just because we wanted to remind all of you folks that we do also have all of our shows available on podcast and iTunes and iHeartRadio and all that fun business for you. So wanted to give you the opportunity to catch us this way as well, too. And we also have a great guest joining us here in just a little bit. Nkwa Asonye is going to be here to help us preview opening day. So it's definitely a great time to be up and moving here at Brew Sports. First and foremost, though, Jamie, as we always like to do in the mornings, it is our What's a Brewing segment. Some funny, some good, some crazy stuff taking place in the sports world. I wanted to start with the story about Rob Gronkowski making his WrestleMania debut. If there's one guy that is not in wrestling, that if he ever wanted a career in wrestling, I feel like Rob Gronkowski is that guy.
Yeah, I think one, he's big enough, and two, he has probably a good enough douchey personality to do it.
He does. That's the thing. I feel like you do have to be slightly douchey to be on something like WrestleMania, or just as a wrestler as a whole, and he fits that mold very well.
I cannot believe how big WrestleMania is. Like, I knew that people follow WWE because when we have we have a wrestling day at an Admirals game,
right,
and people line up hours beforehand because they want to get autographs from the people. So I knew that there were crazy fans out there, like there are in any sport. But as I'm going through Twitter and everything yesterday, and it's just blowing up with WrestleMania.
People were freaking out.
I had no idea that it was such a big deal.
I had no. I have a general idea because I know enough people that love wrestling, which is always funny. And I was one of those people that was late to the party as well too. When I found out that wrestling was all staged and faked and all that, I was like, oh, it made so much more sense because I'm like, they don't ever look like they're actually hitting each other. I'm like, this is so strange. But they're like, oh, it's all pre-decided. It's all just like a Vegas show, basically.
Well, that's what blows my mind is that adults still get so into it, and it's fake.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just like a child thing? Like they all watched it when they were kids, so they all are still obsessed with it. But I feel like when you're a kid, you think it's real, and then you find out it's fake, and people would be like, nope. I'm not going anymore because that's what happens. I don't know. I can't think of an example, but I feel like that's happened with something. It's not real, so then why?
Well, that's the big thing for me, too. When I think about it, I'm just like, this literally is a bunch of grown men running around, throwing themselves at each other, just being like, I'm strong, and oh, no, you're strong, and I'm going to put makeup on and wear tight clothing and do steroids, and it's socially acceptable.
Yeah,
Nowhere else in the world is something like this socially acceptable, yet people love it and live for it, which is just funny. I know when I played college soccer, one of our intros that we would do, to come on the field, was all based around wrestling. It was the weirdest thing for me who had never done wrestling. I'm like, what are we doing? This is so strange. And the seniors are like, yeah, wrestling, John Cena. I'm like, okay. Who's this?
Yeah, and he's the only one that has a career outside of...
He does. The Rock, too, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But aside from that, not a lot of these other guys really do.
Yeah.
But Rob Gronkowski was out ringside last night and got kind of heckled by one of the wrestlers from the crowd. I don't know who the wrestler was, so forgive my ignorance on that. But was getting heckled by folks that were in the ring, and then he decided to jump over the side and then jump into the ring, and then I think he laid some sort of a power move on one of the wrestlers, and the fans absolutely lost their minds, basically. And it was a very Gronk thing to do, and he was getting high fives, and people were going crazy. And Rob Gronkowski, and then you've also got people like Ronda Rousey would do really well also in this fake style, but they've got the personality for it, because you almost have to be full of yourself to want to do something like this, because when you really break it down, it's like I'm just play acting on a massive stage.
I think it would be weird too for them to be like, okay, like everyone's lined up and they're like, John Cena, The Rock, whoever else, you guys are going to be big and badass.
Oh, that's the thing. How do they decide?
You're going to suck.
Yeah, how do they decide that? Guy. You're going to lose, the next 100 matches in a row, but boy, you're going to give it your all. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, what? What? Why? I don't want to do that.
What's wrong with me? I want to be a winner.
I want to hit somebody.
Yeah.
Like, that's always the big thing, I feel like. I mean, like, if it's already pre-scripted, like you said, like, how do you get cast for that? Like, when it was first starting, like, we just need a bunch of really rough and tumble guys that failed out of Hollywood acting or something, and now just want to hit each other.
Who just spend too much time in the gym.
Basically.
Yeah, I don't know. And then they have the TV show, too, Total Divas or whatever, with, like, the girls.
The women are a whole other side of things, I feel like. I don't understand any of that, because then there's, like... people are getting married on WWE, but then there's like royalty, but then it's all run by like this secret government. Like I don't understand it. I really don't. And I'm sure those that are listening that love WWE are just freaking out right now, being like, it's not that, like it's a way of life. Like, okay, good for you. Like that's how some people are with TV shows and things like that. But I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't see it.
Me either.
I do not see it, unfortunately. But it makes for a good time. But Gronk got his minute and a half worth of fame last night at WrestleMania 33, and the fans loved it. The big other story from WrestleMania was that The Undertaker lost and supposedly retired as well. I don't know much about The Undertaker. I know he's been around for a long, long time, and I think he was undefeated up until just maybe a year or two ago, basically. But fans were reporting afterwards that he supposedly has retired as well, too. So we'll have to see if that actually ends up being the case or not. I know with wrestling, I think guys like John Cena and others have retired. The Rock has retired before, but then like has come back for special things as well too. So has anybody ever really retired in WrestleMania? I don't think so. So we'll keep an eye on that, I guess. Jamie, what do you have for us for what's brewing this morning?
Since we're gonna go talk about baseball for a little bit here today, and it's opening day, I think we should go to the video, or I guess sound now, of a fake call to a dugout. I'm just so confused.
There's a lot going on, honestly, and I was really confused when we first saw this. So there is, so you're gonna have to walk me through this again, because you found the story, so I don't remember fully what was going on here.
There wasn't much context behind it, so it was just some college guys they call the bullpen and basically tell them to put to get the reliever up and moving, and they're like, it was like short and sweet, like get him up, get him moving,
get that guy going,
get him out,
let's go,
bye,
get him up.
They didn't say bye, they just hung up, and then they freak out, and then all of a sudden you see the guy come out of the bullpen, and they start freaking out, and then all of a sudden he's in the game. I don't know who they called. I don't know if
how
it
do
was
you get
just
that number?
Maybe that was their friend, and they stole it from his phone.
The only reason I could think that this actually would work is if you are down at if you had somebody that was down at the, can't even think of what it is. Somebody was in the bullpen, so maybe you had like a guy that either worked in the bullpen or you knew somebody that worked down there, and he called one of his guys' cell phone numbers with the phone, because it is an actual phone, like it's a phone call that's made. And you kind of just chime in that way, basically. So I'm wondering if they were able to get the number, because that probably isn't just, you can't go and look up, the Dodgers bullpen or whoever it was. Obviously, I think it was Texas A&M or some game like that. But I don't think that number is public usually, that anybody can just kind of go and grab and be like, all right, I'm just going to give these guys a call now and tell them to go make the call.
Yeah, as I'm reading like a lot of the comments too on the video, people are saying it's fake. Other people are saying it's just coincidence. I don't know.
I have no idea,
it's
honestly.
It's the craziest video.
I agree. I completely agree. Brew says good morning to us and happy opening day as well. Good morning to you, Brew. We wish you a very happy opening day. Jamie is beside herself with excited. She's wearing her Brewers gear this morning. It is a very good day to be alive for Jamie Evers.
I'm excited.
They play the Rockies today as well, so that should be hopefully a win, an opening day win, I'd like to think. From what I remember, the Rockies aren't that great of a team.
Last year when I went to opening day, I think I walked in the ballpark and they were already losing by 10.
Good God.
So anything will be better this year.
So it's you. Are we blaming you then for the reason of this? Or?
We can. I'll take the blame.
I'm not saying we have to blame you. I'm just saying that could be a possibility. but don't quote me on that.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way. So, opening day, do you love it? I suppose, if you're Jamie. If you're me, I made the argument yesterday on one of the shows that I host, What's the Score? I said opening day and the Game Series of the World Series are the only, Game 7 of the World Series are the only 2 days of the year that people actually care about baseball. Nobody cares about the other 161 games that take place between the start of the season and the end of the season, because no one cares about game number 45 in the middle of June, just doesn't make sense. Like, why do we care? Baseball's way too long, and I've already been on record numerous times and been crucified numerous times for saying that. People think I hate baseball. I do hate the general length of baseball. You're not wrong, but at the same time, I don't mind the experience of going to a baseball game, but it takes a lot for me to want to go to a baseball game.
Do you think other teams have their opening day is hyped up as much as the Brewers is? Because the Brewers opening day is
That's what I've
hyped.
wondered. I've always wondered that, honestly. I mean, I know certain cities, of course, like the Yankees, the Red Sox, makes total sense.
Right.
You've got, the Cubs this year, of course. Whoever the defending World Series champion is, that makes total sense, of course, to me, that you have to be fired up. But I want to know how hyped up the people get for the or the Miami Marlins opening day. Like, Tampa Bay Devil Rays, probably not getting too hyped up for that. Arizona Diamondbacks, maybe. Baseball in Arizona is a big deal because they don't have a ton of professional sports down there. So when the Diamondbacks get hyped up, that's where a lot of spring training games are too. So baseball is always moving and grooving. But I feel like the Brewers probably do it better than, I would say, at least half of Major League Baseball.
We have friends in town from New York who are Yankees fans, and they came in just because we always talk about how exciting opening day is. A girlfriend of mine, will be like our 3rd or 4th year going together, so it's becoming a tradition. So they joined along on it this year. So I'm excited to see how they compare, because obviously they can't tailgate in New York. There's no room for it.
That's what I don't understand. Yeah, and that's what Brew just said. He says, I like the tailgating experience of baseball. And that's what I think so many people like to be a part of, is the tailgating. People are like, oh, the game's at 3. Well, I'm going to get there at, 11 o'clock. That's like, holy cow, you're going to get there that early. But you set up the tents, you drink the beer, you play the bags, you grill the brats. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And then you finally stagger up to the gates, 10 minutes before the game finally, pitches off, basically. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm here. You're already like 12 sheets to the wind. Like,
right.
I just feel like there's got to be a policy for letting like really, really drunk people into a ballpark. Like, you have to like almost have a breathalyzer just to get into a game.
I feel like that's also like part of it. Like part of the experience.
It is, yeah. But do you want to deal with the sloshy drunks though? Like,
that's
if you're
why
security?
I don't work in Miller Park.
Jamie's like, I'd rather be the sloshy drunk.
Yeah.
Totally different.
No, I've seen some really drunk people at Miller Park now that I think about it.
Well, how many times do people spill their beer or do crazy stuff like that? Like, it happens all the time.
Last year I had a woman was sitting in front of us, and we each had I think I shared the story.
You did?
I did.
Spilling the drinks, people freaking out.
Man.
Come on, Jamie. Get some new material.
Yeah. But I never, but where I was going to go with that is, I hate people that go to ballparks or arenas in general or whatever and get mad when they get spilled on, or get mad when there's, a drunk person. Overly drunk, okay. But, that's what people do at games. They get drunk.
I don't go to a game to get drunk. Does that make me strange?
Probably.
Yeah. I guess
but,
so.
you can't be, that's the environment, right? That's just what happens. So you can't be upset when you go to a ball game and someone accidentally kicks their high life over.
That's true.
It's going to happen.
That does happen.
Don't put your Prada bag on the floor, you idiot.
Don't bring a Prada bag to a baseball game.
Right.
No one likes that fan. Yeah, Brew says it's how you make it through the game, Baxter. Patrick says Brewer fans are the best at tailgating. He also wishes us a happy opening day in Milwaukee. Tuning in a little late, y'all have a radio show today. Yes, we certainly do, Patrick. It's a good time to be broadcasting on the airwaves today, that's for sure. Speaking of a good time, we should probably get to our correspondent, Nkwa Asonye, one of our numerous correspondents we have here on the Brew Sports Network. Nkwa is a gentleman that helps us with the coverage of so many different sports. He's helped us with college basketball. He's helped us with the NBA. He just is a very talented gentleman, and he joins us on the program now. So a very good morning to you, Nkwa. How are you today? Happy opening day to you as well.
It's about doggone time. Although I will say Masahiro Tanaka did a fantastic job of letting up 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings. Just absolutely spectacular.
Who thought we'd live in an age, Nkwa, where Tanaka would let up 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings, and then Madison Bumgarner would homer twice and still lose a game? Like, I don't understand the world that we live in. I don't know a lot about baseball, but I know that between those two facts, that this baseball season is already off to a roaring start, and fans are just beside themselves with excitement.
I mean, that's really the best part about this hysteria. And the best part about the way that the schedule's set up is that you do have that Sunday to sort of get the pageantry all the way through and things of that nature. Today is when pretty much every team is in action, aside from some of the teams that played yesterday. So I think having the rest of the baseball world really get involved in the rest of this season, I think it's going to be pretty fun.
So when you look at this opening day, I mean, the games last night, of course, as you mentioned briefly, the Rays beat the Yankees 7-3, the Diamondbacks beat the Giants 6-5, and St. Louis beat Chicago, which Cubs fans, I'm sure, will be like, it's fine, we got 161 more. I think the Cubs are going to be the only team that's going to justify losing any game this year. Be like, we won the title last year, we can go another 100 games or whatever. We'll be just fine, kind of a thing. But I was going to get your opinion, though, about what Jaymee asked earlier. You're obviously in New York. But Jaymee was asking about if other teams get as hyped up as Milwaukee does for opening day. Is it as big of a deal in your experience and other venues you've seen or been to throughout your career as we have it here in Milwaukee? Because it literally is like a statewide holiday where the state basically shuts down for almost the entire day.
See, I wish New York was like that sometimes, but it really isn't. But what does happen is that you can tell a lot about New York by how tough it is for you to get from point A to point B because there's traffic going in either direction. The Mets home opener is today. And if I try to drive on anywhere from the BQE to the Grand Central, I expect to be stuck in traffic for the next hour and a half because even if it doesn't show in pageantry throughout the state, it definitely shows on the way to the ballpark. And people definitely pay attention, and whether they're in bars, whether they watch the game at home. People show it a little differently, but I think they're just as excited.
I was in New York once with my best friend when I was 20, and we were trying to get tickets to opening day for the Yankees, but the only seats available were handicap accessible seats. This is really bad. So I had a friend who just broke his leg, and I have a picture somewhere. So we went to the airport. At the bar I work at, there's in the basement there was a wheelchair. I swear to God this is true. So I took my friend's Aircast. We took the wheelchair. We went through the airport, flew to New York, bought handicap accessible seats, and then we got drunk and never went. But we almost made it in.
Wow.
That is phenomenal, though, the fact that you put that much time and thought and effort into it, and then it just never panned out.
Very sweet.
And then we just met like a bunch of cool people and just got day drunk and
sounds like a good time.
Didn't go.
No,
but yeah.
I mean, I've never done anything that scandalous to get into a baseball game because that requires too much effort. I'd rather buy a $6 ticket and sit in the nosebleeds instead of...
There was no seats available. There was nothing.
Well, it's opening day for the Yankees. If, like we said, if you want to talk about a place that certainly is going to jam-pack the stadium, I'm sure it's the Mets and the Yankees who Nkwa. Is that right?
That is indeed correct. Well, the Yankees are still on the road, but the Mets are definitely still, they're still relevant because people keep making them relevant. I'm kidding. They're a great team. They're a great franchise.
Of course. So we look ahead to this opening week. We talk about the craziness. I heard a stat this morning that kind of blows my mind, but I guess it really shouldn't at the same time. It's about Clayton Kershaw, and maybe you've heard this already, but Clayton Kershaw, it's easy for me to say, is going to make $33 million in 2017. He is being paid more money than all of the active 25 players on the San Diego Padres will make in 2017 combined.
I did hear that.
Yes, the entire active, not because they've got guys on the DL, but the current 25 players active for the Padres this season will make $29.5 million, and Madison by himself, or Clayton, by himself, is going to make $33 million. He's the highest paid player in Major League Baseball.
Oh my goodness!
I feel like that says, number one, a lot about his talent, but number two, says a lot about how sad the Padres organization is at the moment. But do baseball players need to be getting paid $33 million a year to not play every single game?
If the market demands it, yeah, why not? especially for someone like Clayton Kershaw, where every 5 days you're pretty much guaranteed a win.
That is true. That is a very good point. I mean, I guess, like I said, that's my ignorance to an extent with baseball. I've always pitching certainly does take a toll on the body. That's why guys get Tommy John surgery and all these other things that, from overextending their arm. But pitchers, I guess, are incredibly valuable. And would you agree, though, as the season goes on, that what's more important, having the bats in your lineup or having the consistent starting five from a pitching perspective?
To be honest, I think these days, having the bats are more important. I mean, it really takes somebody transcendent like Clayton Kershaw to really warrant that kind of money. But in this day and age, especially with the continued use of defensive shifts, right now, in this day and age of baseball, it's getting harder to make good contact, and it's harder to make it count for something. Any lineup that can sort of work the count. I mean, think about the Moneyball lineup from like 2003. Back then, it was sort of a revelation because, wow, this team is built a little unconventionally. Now everybody's doing it. And it makes pitchers' jobs, in essence, a little easier because you have hitters taking different approaches. And I think people are still not factoring in that we're still in the recovery from the steroid area.
That is also true.
Really, for me, if you can have a solid lineup 1 through 7 that can consistently get you good at bats, even against a hitter like Clayton Kershaw, you have a chance to win.
We were talking about the money aspect before, and I'm pretty sure the baseball players, they get paid the most out of any typically any sport, right?
They've got the most guaranteed money too, to my knowledge.
And they have
yes, they do.
It surprises me that not more Major League Baseball players are, and this might sound bad, like charitable. Like when you look, I was actually looking up a bunch of stuff this morning about charitable athletes, and there was more basketball players and hockey players than baseball players, and you would think that they would be. It's an American sport, right? It's like the pastime and
right.
All that. Does that surprise you that they wouldn't be more willing to share their wealth?
I mean, what's tougher for them is that their season's longer than everybody else's too. I mean, I'm not really trying to just plead their case or whatever, but I try to look at whatever they do in the off season. I try to look at it in perspective because football, yes, you have training camp and yes, you have the length of the season, but for the most part, they are out of the picture. They're doing workouts of their own, but I don't think we really hear about them until voluntary team workouts kick off in June. But they've still had nearly half the year and longer for some who didn't make the playoffs to recover. Meanwhile, for basketball, you still have that same amount of time to recover. For baseball is always going to be a grind, especially for those fringe players. After the season's over, they don't just rest. In fact, many of them go and play overseas, whether they play in the Caribbean, in South America, in Australia. Well, yeah, Australia still. Anywhere that these fringe players can get an extra chance to hone their skills, many of them take it. So they're on the road virtually all the time. But for the stars in question, to better answer it, I think they're trying to maintain that same level of professionalism. I will say that we hear less about their charities, but some of these baseball players have charities too. Here in New York, they had the Turn 2 Foundation since, I want to say,
Oh, and we lost him. Nkwa, no, come back, sir. We've lost him for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. But, Jaymee, you were doing some math in your head there, or on your fingers. I was curious what you were counting.
I was counting how long the baseball season was. So, spring training is March.
Correct.
Baseball ends October.
Usually.
8-ish months.
About that.
Okay, so then I was thinking, we all know football, whatever, is... hockey season is 7 months long.
It is. You're right. Hockey season is about almost the same, but obviously it's it's less games in the same amount of time because hockey is far more brutal than what baseball is, though. And we've talked about this. You can sit in the outfield and pick dandelions for 8 innings and never see a ball hit your way the entire time.
Yeah.
But and people make some comments here too. Patrick says, granted, baseball players do play 162 games in perspective of their pay. So I guess that does make sense when you break it down from how much they're being paid per time they're actually working.
Yeah, but I work 312 days a year.
It's true. But are you providing?
But I sit at my desk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Someone that works 312 days a year and does physical labor probably makes more money than I do.
Yes, you're right about that.
So it's the same thing, kind of.
You just want more money. That's all you're telling me. Jeff also says really fast here. He says, "Why do I think that Jaymee thinks the Brewers' starting pitcher's name is Jameson?"
I wouldn't be mad.
Maybe we'd win more games. Patrick also says, Jonathan Lucroy is a very charitable player. No matter what team he is on, I will always respect that. I agree. The more charitable work you do, the more that it certainly adds to the general bit of your supporting of those players. I think we've got Nkwa back on the line now. Nkwa, are you there, sir?
Yes. I don't like technology right now.
That makes two of us this morning, but it's all good. But just wanted to put a bow on our conversation there, Nkwa. Any other final thoughts about the payment for MLB players or just opening day storylines that fans should be keeping an eye on today?
As far as opening day storylines go, the fact of the matter is, it is opening day. I'm not sure if I care enough about what anyone else has to say about baseball for today. I mean, you've got Braves, Mets today, Nationals, Marlins, and I want to keep an eye on the NL East, not just because it correlates geographically for me. Sheesh, my English sucks this morning. But because the Mets, we still have to figure out whether or not their starting rotation will actually hold up for all 162 games. The Marlins, who are still trying to figure themselves out after the death of Jose Fernandez, which really, really bites. They're facing a Washington National team that's trying to take the NL East again. So I really think that those two games will tell us at the very least at the start what we should be looking for. And one more game that I think is going to be really, really crucial. I want to go to that Padres-Dodgers game, if only because the Dodgers, for the last couple of years, last year they sort of justified the hype a little bit, especially with the emergence of Corey Seager. But I want to see if against the Padres they can come out rolling. I think it'd be really important to see that against a division opponent. The Padres played spoiler to a lot of teams last season. Let's see if the Dodgers make sure that doesn't happen.
That's true, and now that we have that stat as well about Clayton Kershaw, the Padres would probably be like, listen, we don't need to be that much because we're better than just one player, which I'm sure is not actually the case. But you never know. It's always fun for those upset alerts. The world of sports lives for the good upsets. So always a good time there for sure. So Nkwa, we appreciate you joining us today. Go enjoy opening day and don't party too much like Jamie's going to once we get off the air. And we'll talk to you again. We're actually going to talk to you again tomorrow to recap the national championship game for the NCAA tournament. So an exciting time. We'll speak with you then, sir. We're looking forward to it.
Can't wait. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. There goes Nkwa Asonye, one of our many talented and exciting correspondents here on Brew Sports. A quick reminder for you to go check out our website as well, too, brewsportsnet.com. Give us a like on Facebook. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Brew Sportsnet, at Baxter Colburn, at Jaymee_Evers as well. All right, Jaymee, where are we going now?
I think I want to stick with the whole charitable
things. Okay,
athletes. So,
sure.
I read an article about LeBron James.
Good old LeBron.
Who's donating $41.8 million to the University of Akron. Akron. Is that how you say it?
Akron. University of Akron.
From Sheboygan.
Akron.
So the tuition there is $9,500 a year.
Okay.
So he plans any kid that is in his I Promise program will receive free tuition for 4 years. So that's going to cover 1,100 kids to go to college.
Jeepers.
Which is so cool.
Stop, LeBron. You're making people like you more than they already do. LeBron James and Tom Brady, you may hate them, but at the same time, you can't really hate them because they're just so dang nice.
Like, who has $41.8 million to throw away? LeBron James does.
He's not even throwing it away. That's the thing. But, like, who has $41.8 million that they can just give it around? Yeah. Like, there you go.
This is awesome, and it makes me feel very happy. It makes me feel happy.
Aww.
But so then I looked up, like, current athletes who... are like the most charitable. David Beckham's on the list.
Oh, yeah.
Serena Williams, Eli Manning, Larry Fitzgerald. Ronda Rousey was getting up there. Who else? John Cena.
John Cena does a lot of great charitable work as well.
Cristiano Ronaldo. No, LeBron.
And $41.8 million. Can you even fathom having that much money, like, to just give away?
No, like $1 million is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't even imagine being like, oh, I have a surplus of $41 million. I think I'm going to just donate it because I don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody needs $41 million anyway, but the fab that built up and
he's not even going to notice that it's missing. No. That's what's crazy.
Well, when you've got endorsement deals with Nike, he's got a lifetime shoe deal with Nike, and he's got endorsement deals left and right with, I think, like Beats and all these other people as well, too. So he probably could not even get paid a single dollar from the NBA the rest of his career and still be, almost over $100 million worth of money in the bank at all times.
We are doing something wrong, Baxter.
One of these days, people will give me $1 million.
Someone sponsor me for the rest of my life.
What would you want to get sponsored for?
Being awesome.
Being awesome? No, like if you're gonna get an endorsement, if Jamie's gonna get an endorsement deal.
Shoes.
You are about that. You're about that shoe deal.
Yeah.
Are you a sneaker gal?
I love sneakers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't see you wear enough sneakers to justify you being a sneakers gal.
Yeah, I have a lot of Nikes in my house.
You're one of those. But I feel like you're always dressed fairly nice, so you're a classy gal. So I never get to see the sneaker side of Jamie.
I think I'm always dressed comfortably.
For the most, but your shoe game is not always on point.
Yeah, no, I don't really like. I wouldn't say that. I have a lot of sneakers.
Sure.
So, but I actually wear them like to do things. People have like nice like shoes that they only wear. Like mine have mud all over them because I wear them all the time.
That's the same thing for me as well too. Like I buy nice shoes, but I also have size 13 feet and I'm clumsy. So I walk like a clown and I kick and scuff and do every single possible thing, not even on purpose, but I literally have to get new shoes every couple of months because they just get beat to crap. And I just like I'm going to work. I'm not out in the fields, sawing logs and stuff. I'm just walking through the office, doing all different kinds of stuff. And come home and my wife is like, "What did you do today?" I'm like, "I just went to go get coffee in the break room."
Right.
It's like it's ridiculous. Jeff says LeBron is doing a great job of investing in people's futures. I completely agree with you on that one. And Jeff also says he would just like a surplus of $48, let alone $41.8 million. I'm not sure what I would want for an endorsement deal. I mean, yeah, shoes is, of course, the one thing a lot of people do. Some people want cars. Some people just...
I'd take sweatpants, too.
Sweatpants. You've got the long legs. You could be like a sweatpant model. I got that. That makes total sense to me. I mean, coffee I would get on board with. I mean, I would do like the Gatorade commercials or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I mean, work in broadcasting, so maybe microphones really aren't that popular. So headphones, maybe I could do headphones. That would be a good one. The Bose or Beats by.
Yeah, and you get nice ears.
Thank you. Could be an ear model, maybe.
Yeah.
If sports doesn't work out for me, I could be an ear model.
Yeah, I can't. My ears are too little.
I mean, I can't really see your ears because your hair's over them, but
like the holes of my ears where these things go.
Oh, sure. Little ears. That's kind of funny. So if you would like to be an endorser of Baxter or Jaymee, please find us on our respective social networks at Baxter Colburn, at Jaymee_Evers.
Give me all your money.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jeff says size 13 or bigger shoes. He says there's definitely more area to scuff up. That is certainly true. I mean, every pair of shoes I've ever owned, always just beat to heck. I'm not a very outdoorsy guy. Like, I'll go do it. I love the hikes and all that fun stuff, but like, I literally can hardly walk through a parking lot without like tripping or scuffing or doing something. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's fine.
I don't understand how I played sports at such a fairly high level for such a long time. It really, really blows my mind some days. I want to talk about golf. And for those that know me personally, we've already talked about wrestling. We've already talked about baseball. And now we're going to talk about golf. All of the people that support and know Baxter Colburn have probably given up, started drinking, and probably are now addicted to some sort of recreational drug because they're like, who is this guy? Because he never talks about any of this stuff. Well, it's I try to when it's actually relevant, okay? So that's why I don't talk about baseball for 3 months of the year, and then I have to talk about baseball again when it actually is relevant. But there is this story swirling around from the LPGA Tour that people are losing their damn minds about. Lexi Thompson was handed a 4-stroke penalty after walking off the 12th green on Sunday during the 4th round of the ANA Inspirational. Penalty was apparently handed out thanks to a viewer who emailed the LPGA officials about a possible infraction that took place during the 3rd round. There's a lot that just happened in that little bit there. First and foremost, I think it is absolutely absurd that you can be sitting on your couch drinking a beer, your other hand is stuffed in a bowl of pretzels, and then you decide to email in the LPGA or the PGA Tour because Rory McIlroy moved his ball a half of an inch and, dear God, shut the tournament down. Like, I don't understand how that's legally possible. Why are we letting people that have no golf experience or just a fan who's not even there?
Right.
That's not an official. People are getting paid thousands of dollars to be an official that are there watching the game, plus instant replay, plus everything else. Why are we allowing this to dictate the way the game changes?
Why does this person not have anything better to do with their day?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know.
I want to know what the email address is. Because, I mean, if people can call the bullpen of a college baseball game, I feel like you know, and change that course of things. Like, sports are getting so loose now. I feel like I'm waiting for an NFL game suddenly to just get interrupted by a tweet somebody sends, and then the refs get a text, and then all of a sudden the game shuts down for some reason. Like, this is absolutely absurd. Why is this a possible rule and the possible thing that somebody follows? Like, if I was an official and I got a little email being like, hey guys, like, you did this wrong, you know, you should do a penalty. Like, I'd be like, hey, thank you so much for your opinion. We didn't see anything bad about it. We're going to keep on. Like, why do you have to go back and change something that was already forgotten about? The officials and the player themselves had no intention of going back and bringing the, you know, reiterating basically. That really blows my mind.
It's nice to see that other people from the PGA are supporting her.
Correct.
So that's always really nice to see. It says also, after full review, it was determined that Thompson breached the rule and, you know, playing from the wrong place and received a 2-stroke penalty. But then, because she turned her card in incorrectly, she got another 2 strokes, so 4 strokes altogether.
And she didn't know that, though.
Right. But she still got penalized. And I think it said they viewed the video for like 2 hours, it said.
And she literally moved the ball, I think it was like a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 an inch. Or it was something foolish about that, honestly. I'm trying to see what exactly the deal was. Yeah, Thompson inappropriately replaced her ball an inch away from the previously marked spot. And that warranted her getting overall, as you mentioned, a 4-stroke penalty. She was winning this tournament by 2 strokes, and then ultimately ended up losing because of these 4 strokes being tacked on.
Like, can she just get a redo and prove that she can do it? I don't think she did it on purpose because
she didn't. No,
she's an amazing golfer and probably wasn't willing to risk her chances of this happening. If you watch the video, come on. I just watched the video for the first time. She literally sets it up. She picks it up and sets it back down, like to remove the marker, and it's the littlest bit away.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
We have people starving in the streets, and we're focusing on the fact if somebody moved their golf ball an inch.
And it's not even like she moved it an inch closer to the hole. It was like an inch down from where she was.
I don't understand. What is life coming to?
Poor girl.
I really don't understand. Brew makes a great point here, too, as well. For those of you that are tuning in on Spreaker, you can get us here on Spreaker.com. There's also a Spreaker app as well, too, for those of you that are on the go and want to keep listening in if you have to move about with your life. Brew says, golf with video replay based on an email, ridiculous.
I agree.
100% agree. People remember the 2016 altercation with Dustin Johnson, and he was penalized for doing virtually the same thing as well back in 2016. People lost their minds, but if there's somebody, if I'm in the golf world and I want someone to go to bat for me, Tiger Woods would probably be on the first of my list. And he's the first guy that was really to lead off the discussion of this. He tweeted out saying, "Viewers at home should not be officials wearing stripes. Let's go at Lexi, win this thing anyway." And then she just got absolutely showered with these people supporting her as well too. My favorite one is Shane Lowry, who says, "Who the is sitting at home zooming in on that stuff?" It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of these other people, Cheyenne Wood says viewers should not be able to call in rulings. John Peterson says, "LOL at LPGA." Like,
Smiley Kaufman, unbelievable. Such a shame for at Lexi. The guy eating Cheetos at home shouldn't have a say in the outcome. I agree.
Oh my gosh. It just boggles my mind. Like, Lexi seems like just such a sweet gal too. Like, I feel like there's absolutely zero malicious thought of her, in her minds basically. And then she gets tagged with something like this. It just doesn't seem right in my personal opinion. I
think we all agree on that.
Love golf or don't. Just depends on your thoughts and feelings about that. But it boggles my mind that people would have to go to take care of something like that to help themselves feel better about their lives.
What is he accomplishing? Like, he doesn't get anything out of this.
Is he like,
or she, whoever's doing it.
Probably a he. Let's be
imagine
honest.
Meh.
Yeah, it's this big dude like Bill from Buffalo
with like
sitting
his
on his couch
on that has chip stains on
exactly, it. Like, she moved the ball. I'm gonna send an email.
I better call it in. Yeah.
No. A big congratulations to the University of South Carolina women's basketball team last night for a national championship victory for them. The men, unfortunately, will not be trying to go for the double here as well. But South Carolina, the number 1 seed, finishes their season 33-4 as they win 67-55 over the number 2 seeded Mississippi State in the women's national championship last night. So Coach Staley finally has an NCAA championship. So congratulations to Don Staley.
Yesterday, I had someone ask me if I thought that UConn losing was good for women's sports, so people would talk about it. And I said, I just had this conversation with Baxter, and I said no.
111 straight wins in the can.
Yep.
For Gino Ariema.
And I think people talked about it for a day, and now no one cares. Again.
If that. Now no one's going to talk about UConn again until March Madness again next year.
Correct. So them losing does not mean anything.
It doesn't do a single thing.
No.
So good for South Carolina. They are the top story on ESPN.com, which I think is great for them, but they're going to get buried as soon as the national championship for the men starts tonight and opening day starts. Like, enjoy the like 12 hours you're going to be famous, but aside from that, no one's going to remember you tomorrow, unfortunately.
Speaking of NCAA, remember when we were talking, you told me a stat when the tournament started that men's vasectomy rates are higher. Okay.
30% higher, I think.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with basketball, but it has something to do with vasectomies.
Perfect.
I was told last night. So Staten Island is 13 miles long or whatever. Tiny little place. Their deer population is so high right now that the DNR are coming in and giving the male deer vasectomies. And they have spent over $2 million doing this. So they capture the deer. They pay for someone to capture the deer. They pay for someone to knock the deer out. And then they pay again for the vasectomy to happen. It costs like $1,000 a deer. No, I think it's $2,000. I think it's like $2,200 per deer. You know what you could do with those deer? You could kill them and feed them to the homeless.
Also true.
Instead of paying $2 million to give them vasectomies.
This is the strangest thing. I wonder how their brackets
legalize bow hunting and let people bow hunt and feed their families.
Can you imagine people bow hunting downtown New York City? Like, I got a big one.
Yeah, but it's in Staten Island. It's not in the city.
I know. But so those that would trek over.
Yeah, when they told me this yesterday, because my friends that are visiting, we were talking about
it.
Like, my blood was boiling.
That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, there's so many
You're giving them vasectomies?
Why?
You're spending $2 million on vasectomies. Spend $2 million on treatment for the water that you pollute all the time, Staten Island. Kill the deer, feed your family. I wish it was Friday because I'd keep ranting, but...
You can keep ranting. I mean, Jamie can rant any day she wants, really.
I don't... Oh, I don't understand.
Where's PETA in all of this? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, but PETA would be more upset that we would kill them.
Instead of vasectomizing?
That I would want to kill them. over giving them a vasectomy. Yeah, because they're still getting a life. Although they probably would be like, well, they didn't ask for a vasectomy. Like, little Bambi, he wanted to live a nice life and make a big family. No, he should get chopped up and eaten.
Adam says the deer can be players now. Oh, yeah. They can. They'll be like, hey, I can do a little bit of that dough, a little bit of this dough, get some of that whitetail over there. No repercussions. Hey, girl. No child support. Game on.
And I said, well, why can't you guys hunt? And they're like, Staten Island only 32 miles long. Okay. I get it. But, like, bow hunt. Bow hunt.
Staten Island's going to turn into, like, the Hunger Games with people just bow hunting all over the place. The deer population. Shut down the deer.
We have an extra $2 million. Let's just go sterilize all these deer. Vasectomies don't even work all the time.
This is what's wrong with America, ladies and gentlemen.
Ugh.
I don't understand. I do not understand. That blows my mind, and I'm thankful that you brought that up, because I've been meaning to tell you that I'm getting a vasectomy. No, I'm actually not. No, I want more. We need like 3 more kids before that's going to happen. And even then, like, is it optional? Like, do you have to get a vasectomy? Like, I don't feel like guys have to get a vasectomy.
No, I think people just do it to, like,
shut it down.
Yeah.
It's like it's always funny too, because the people that I meet, and this is off topic, which is par for the course, but the people that I meet that have like, yeah, I've gotten vasectomies, and then I like look at them, I'm like, you having a lot of sex? Like, doesn't seem to me like you need to shut down operations there for some reason.
Yeah, but it's easier for you to get one than for a woman to remove her lady bits.
I suppose so.
And it's easier, and it's reversible.
I suppose that is also reversible, yes. Brew says he thinks it's just cheaper to provide the deers with condoms.
They can't. They don't have thumbs, Brewer. They can't put them on their little deer wieners.
You want to get buck wild, Brew? Like, it's not going to happen. I mean,
Brew's out there just throwing condoms on a bunch of bucks.
See him like on their horns, just running around and be like, "What's going on?" Brew also wants to know. He says, "When is the Brew Sports golf outing?" I'm all for. Like, I enjoy playing the sports that I talk about that I hate, because I don't like watching them. I would rather play the sports. So I would go play golf. I would go play baseball. I would go play tennis. I'd go play hockey. But like, I don't want to watch them. I think it would be fun. I would drink and golf.
Can we play like kickball instead? I can't.
The Brew Sports kickball tournament.
I will be everybody's golf cart driver.
Yes,
that's what I'll do.
I feel like you'd look good with like the little golf skirt and the hat, and like just driving the cart. Be like, all right, you'd have like a drink, and you'd have a Long Island in one hand, and be like, where to? Next hole. Okay.
Where shall I take you, sir?
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, that makes total sense to me. Jeff also has been apparently coming out. He says, I'll be a ref from my couch. He says pets now have Jamie on their list. I'm not exactly sure why you're on their list, but I mean...
It's probably PETA.
Yeah,
Jeff, I like meat.
Yum.
I'm a carnivore, okay? Beer cart. Yeah, that'll be in my... Adam, beer will be in my golf cart.
Golf bag?
Don't worry.
Golf cart? Ken says he's in
You're
for a golf
not invited,
outing.
Dad.
I think Ken should come. Can we golf at Sheboygan's finest?
Sheboygan has some really nice golf courses.
Oh, good.
Kohler's right there.
I love
Whistling
Kohler.
Straits.
PGA Tour championships go through there all the time. That makes total sense to me. I'm all for that. I mean, can I partner with Ken? Ken, do you want to be in my foursome? I think that would be Ken and I can club it up.
I'll just be the cart girl. I can't golf. I took Dad golfing once.
Yeah,
but I can't golf.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jeff says I can't golf either. Needs to be a putt golf.
Putt golf with a golf cart so I can participate.
You don't need to You don't need to drive a golf cart if you're putting. It's all of like 2 feet between the holes. If you can't walk.
It would make it more fun.
I don't know. Brew says Lake Park is perfect. It's basically mini golf. And Jeff also says he loves meat as well. I do love meat. I'm a burger guy.
Dad says, Baxter, I'll let you know. Jamie, you can stay home.
Perfect. Or if we're reading it literally, Bayer.
It's okay. He doesn't.
It's fine, Ken. You bought me a T-shirt, but I mean, I didn't expect you to get my name right. It's not.
At least he spelled Brew Sports right.
He did. I appreciate you, Ken. And hashtag yes drama as well too. Still waiting for my Brew Sports like official zip ups and tattoos and hats and all that fun stuff as well too. Quarter zips and underwear. Get the Brew Sports like booty underwear. That'd be a good one. I'd wear that. No one would ever know. So I mean, it's good to promote something that people don't have to actually see or talk about. All right, Jamie. Let's see. Last bit here. It is Monday. Anything else you want to hit on here? Oh, I wanted to talk about this briefly. Adrian Peterson is visiting with the New England Patriots today, and if that doesn't terrify the rest of the NFL, I don't know what does. How much do you actually think this is going to happen?
Do they need him, or do you think that they just want him because they can have him?
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
They want him because they can have them. And you're like, listen, we've already won Super Bowls up the wazoo. We're probably going to win another one and or compete again. You've never been to a Super Bowl, Baxter. That's what your dad is telling you to, at least, apparently. You've never been to a Super Bowl, Adrian Peterson. So why not come and be a part of our stellar organization? He's only played for the Vikings his entire career. He's never tasted a Super Bowl.
Dabbled with anybody else. Might as well. He might as well.
But the cold weather, though, that's what concerns me. Will he last in the cold weather of the Boston area, the Foxborough?
But it's as cold as Minnesota.
They play in a dome.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, Tanner Burke was on record the other day saying he thinks that Adrian Peterson would never sign with a cold weather team that plays outdoors. Because he's not used to it. That's why when he was training with the Buccaneers players, people were like, ooh, maybe he'll sign with Tampa Bay.
Interesting.
I feel like the Patriots would be even more hated if Adrian Peterson does sign with the team, of course. Just because they're like, why? I mean, I can already hear Tanner in the back of my head be like, dear God, why? Like, you're already the best in the NFL. We get it. Now you've got the GOAT of the running backs and the GOAT of the quarterbacks. Like, stop. Yeah, Tanner somewhere is rolling over, just being like, getting bad flashbacks of Adrian Peterson rushing for 20,000 yards just on Buffalo alone. Sad days. Well, it's been fun, Jamie. A little different, a little unique, but still a good time overall. Grateful to have you along in this journey that we call life. You excited for opening day? When do the festivities start for you today?
I'm gonna leave here. I gotta pack up some stuff, head to the office, and then we're leaving at 10:30 or 11, I think.
What time's first pitch?
1.
Oh, I guess that makes sense then. Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, a very special thanks to all of you, numerous people that followed us here on Spreaker today that gave us your comments. They kept the conversation light and exciting and crazy all at the same time. Special thanks to Nkwa Asonye for joining us today. Always a good time to get Nkwa on the show. A funny guy, that's for sure, but always gives it to us straight, Jamie, and that's all we want, honestly, with Nkwa. We do look forward to being back here tomorrow, of course, at 8 Eastern, 7 a.m. Central Time, so make sure to catch us here on the Brew Sports Network. Just go to Facebook, Brew Sports, like, comment, share, Brew Sports, all that great stuff. She's Jamie Evers. I'm Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow on The Morning Brew. Have a great rest of your Monday, and happy opening day, everybody.
Yay.